Hello, my name is Dale Wilhite. I'm in Idaho Springs, Colorado at the moment. Hope to be in either Texas or Kansas or Oklahoma tomorrow night. I don't know if I'll make it or not, but I'm going to try. Uh, if you want to find anything about me, you can go to MySpace, where I have a very large page, or Facebook or Twitter, where I have two accounts there. This here is about foster homes. To give you an example of the point I'm trying to make here about these American foster homes, is that when I was in one in '63, at the age of 3, with my two brothers, Victor and Mark Spirigo. Uh, we got sent to one that looked like the Addams Family house from the TV show The Addams Family. It almost looked like it on the inside. Maybe not so much, but minus the spider webs and stuff. But it was a creepy place, and the people that took us in were just as creepy. I remember an old man who used to beat on me with his slipper all the time. He just got a kick out of it. Kept me confined to a bed 24 hours a day. I couldn't go even outside. I'm 3 years old. And I had to sit there in that big, huge bed, where about 10 of us, I think, slept. It was just a gigantic bed. It wasn't 10, but I had to leave about 4 or 5 of us. And they just shoved us into this stinking bed. And I'd have to sit there alone all day long while my two brothers played outside. For some reason, they just wanted me to lay in that bed 24 hours a day and confined to that room. And again, he'd come there every now and then and whack me upside the head with that slipper for whatever reason. I think one time I was pounding on the wall with my feet. I didn't have anything to do. And that's what he does. And he did, over and over again. Eventually, we got taken away. I don't know why. Maybe they found out the state. And we were taken in by two ladies. And I remember them coming to pick us up. I remember looking at the house as we were leaving. And I swear, I can't hardly believe this is in Las Vegas, because it was raining. It was wet, and it's just a wide open area. Looked like moss trees with moss in it or something. That's not Vegas, but we were in there. Again, it was just a creepy place, a creepy house. And we went to live with these two ladies and other kids that they were taking care of. These two ladies took us in and took these other kids in, not for the money, but because they cared for the kids. They cared for all the kids there. The first foster home we were in, it was all about the money. Spend as little as you can and confine these kids as much as you can and spend very little. I never even got a haircut till I was 5.5 years old. And that's because I won't get into that yet, but even until I was 5.5. I went around as a kid for a long time with very long hair. And people couldn't tell the difference if I was a girl or a boy. But anyway, this lady would take us to the county jail clerk detention center, where the reason why we were in the foster home, of course, was our mother, Kathy Johnson, at the time, or she may have had the married name Kathy Spirigo, had been locked up for robbing a motel, in which my brothers and I helped her out. To make a long story short, we all went into a motel room. She was looking for money. She found the money, I believe. I found some toys, stole that, and stuff like that. She ran off, and the cops chased us all over Las Vegas for a while before they caught us. And we got sent to foster home. She got sent to the detention center, and eventually she would get 18 months for that crime. She was like 21 years old, broke, separated or divorced from her husband Gus, who was an airman or NCO up at Dow Air Force Base now. So she was just trying to survive. Anyhow, what I learned about the difference between these two foster homes that my brothers and I were in, or half brothers and I were in, is the fact that there are some who do it for the money, and they are abusive. There are some who do it because they love kids and they want to help these kids, and it's not for the money. And these two ladies obviously were taking care of all of us, and there were other kids there too, because they loved kids. I remember getting Kool-Aid. I remember getting food finally. I didn't get a haircut, but still, they were, they saved us basically, because this guy was going to end up killing me for sure. That was just a taste of the beatings I would get months later when my two brothers' father Gus would show up, take us back to Dow Air Force Base in my mother's car, right, convertible. Of course, she couldn't keep it because she was in prison. And there, his bisexual wife, Charlotte, would end up breaking my jaw 3 times, my nose 3 times. You can see my chin. It's busted so many times. My left arm broken, scalded me in hot bath water, which I kicked her upside the bottom of the chin. I was 5 then. And of course, she took me out to the flight line one night and threw me out there in the snow, hoping I'd freeze to death. But airman or air policeman apparently saw me before I froze to death. And how she got out of it, I don't know. But I was so terrified I would never say who did all these things to me. They knew it was her, but at that time, child abuse wasn't a big deal. It's just kind of, people just kind of looked the other way. Anyhow, when it comes to the foster homes, the states need to take a better look at the people who want to be foster care parents. And are they doing it for the money, or are they doing it because they care? This old man and whoever else was in that house, I don't remember anybody else being there, but there were other people there that were part of his family. They did it for the money. And these two ladies, they did it because they cared. I mean, I can remember this lady coming in that big old 1950-something car, looked like something from Happy Days. I believe it was the same old car that character Howard Cunningham on that Happy Days show drove, a Studebaker or something. It was 50s. I'll never forget that. And it was old. But she picked us up and took us down there, I think, every couple of days to see our mother. And Kathy would be right there in the lobby or in the waiting room or whatever they called it to greet us. My two brothers weren't too happy to see her. Like a little 3-year-old, I was just anxious to see her. I couldn't wait. They knew what she did. Again, that was, robbing that motel. But she was broke. I doesn't condone it. I don't condone it. You don't ever condone stuff like that. But she was trying to raise 3 kids by herself without any education, without a husband who wasn't worth much anyway, and so forth. Again, she did the best that she could, but again, it just wasn't enough, and she paid a heavy price. And she eventually killed herself in '76, in 12/9/76, out there by the Tropicana Highway, just across from where the MGM is located now, the old Motel 6. As far as I know, the Motel 6 is still there. It was there at least 2 years ago when I was last in Vegas. But anyway, that's what the point I'm trying to make about foster homes is the states need to make sure that kids that go there and are going to be taken care of, the foster families are doing it because they care. And they must demonstrate that. If they're doing it for the money, no way, Jose. You're just better off in putting a bunch of these kids in a group, almost like a dormitory or something, and just have one person taking care of them. Because to put them in with families who's doing it just for the money, you're putting these kids at risk, and it's extremely dangerous. And some of these kids get killed. If this old man had kept much longer, he'd probably killed me. And of course, I went to a worse fate months later. And luckily, I got taken out of that hellhole at Dow Air Force Base in '65 by another family. Then they never beat me. I was never abused. That's definitely for sure. But I see and I keep hearing about all of these foster kids in America being abused, neglected, and I know the reason why. A lot of it has to do with money. There were some foster kids there when I was a teenager in near northern Florida who was being molested by some freak, And again, these kids were just thrown into this home. No real effort was made to see if this man and woman were qualified or to take care of them. No, he just wanted those girls so he could molest them. Don't figure. So anyhow, that's what needs to be done. We need to stop just throwing these kids into any foster home that's willing to take them, and they need to take a look at the people that want to take in these kids and see if it's for the money or is it because they want to help. They want to give these kids a childhood, at least something, at least a little hope. My mother, she didn't get that. She spent her first 12 years of her life in foster home. Found some guy that's Gus to marry at Nellis Air Force Base. Always sneaking out of the foster homes at night. She got married, had a couple of kids about 3 kids before she was 18. Now with the third. And just ended up killing herself at 36 because she couldn't find anyone that loved her. Nobody wanted to adopt her. And all she searched for the 36 years of her life was to find someone that would love her. Nobody would. They'd use her, but they wouldn't love them. It's as simple as that. And again, that's another thing about our system, is that we need to start adopting kids here in America. And Americans need to stop trying to adopt kids from all over the world. How about the kids here in America? What about us? Or not me now, but about the kids now. What about them? It just seems like American kids who are in foster homes, it's all these entertainers like Madonna, it's screw you. I don't care about you. That's the way it seems to be. Anyhow, I hope you will contact your congressional representative or whoever it is that you feel can change the system and make them start looking at the families a little bit more. And do they really love these kids, or is it just for the money? Thank you for